Good morning, and the purpose of this video is to go over Essay 2 and the instructions for how to write Essay 2. For this essay, you will analyze the types of irony that can be found in Ray Bradbury's The Veldt. There are three different types of irony in which you could discuss: verbal irony, situational irony, and or dramatic irony. Verbal irony occurs when a speaker's intention is the opposite of what he or she is saying. Situational irony occurs when the actual result of the situation is totally different from what you'd expect the result to be. Dramatic irony occurs when the audience knows a piece of information that a character in the text does not. Think about like a scary movie for dramatic irony, in which you, the audience, may know that the killer is behind the barn, right? But the actual characters in the text don't know that yet. So that would be dramatic irony. So you have three different types of irony. One deals with dialogue, one deals with the events, and then the last one deals with the audience. You may choose to discuss one or all three, but you must include three examples in your essay, so one per body paragraph, meaning that you could have all verbal irony or two verbal and one situational. However you want to mix and match these, that will be up to you based on the examples that you pull from the text. You should make sure that your structure follows what is on the assignment sheet. Cite any information found in the text, cited biographical information about the author, or cited definition you choose to use, both with in-text citations in MLA format and a works cited page. Those papers submitted without proper in-text citations, works cited pages, will receive a grade of F. Please consult the CVCC's English Plagiarism Guide before submitting your paper. The topic for this paper is to analyze the short story The Veldt by Ray Bradbury to determine the theme of the text through the types of irony that are present throughout the text without summarizing the story. Here is your thesis stem. Now, unlike your diagnostic essay, you are not provided with the entire thesis statement. You will have to come up with what comes after the word prove. In the short story The Veldt, Ray Bradbury uses irony to prove, and then you finish with the theme and the universal outcome. Now, we will talk about how to come up with that thesis in a moment using your How to Write document, so make sure you have that one out as well. The main goals for this essay is to focus your essay with a strong thesis statement that shows the scope of the assignment as outlined above. Essay should show rather than tell. Use your critical voice to explain. Topic sentences for body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 should validate and mirror the thesis statement. You need to create 3 organized body paragraphs that focus on one main point each and divide your essay into manageable sections for your reader. Now, this paper is 5 paragraphs. The first one you have to write is your introduction, then your 3 body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. So unlike your diagnostic where you did not have to write your introduction, now you will have to write your introduction. You can see the video for how to write the introduction to your paper right here on Blackboard. Please make sure that you watch that so that you understand how to write the structure of the introduction. The introduction must look like what your diagnostic did, in a sense that the structure will be the same. You start by identifying the theme and defining it in a universal way. You connect that theme to the author and the title of the text. You introduce the author's biography. You give a short summary of the text and then your thesis statement at the end. So please make sure you watch the video on how to write the introduction to your paper. This video does not use this particular story, but you will write your introduction the same way. This essay must include at least 2 sources with correlating in-text citations and a works cited page. The works cited page has already been provided to you in the MLA formatted document for Essay 2. Please make sure that you are typing your rough draft and your final draft using this template. Do not use any other citations other than the 2 that are present on this document. Here is your introduction structure and your paragraph structure. Again, we will go over that in a moment when we look at the how to write document. Here are some reminders for the essay. Use multiple examples and explanations to highlight and prove your topic sentences. Arrange your examples in a logical manner with supporting information that relates to the evidence with sufficient details. This means that all of your examples come in the order that they appear in the text itself. Each paragraph should highlight the event's dialogue's individualism by making a meaningful point. Each paragraph should be a minimum of 8 to 10 sentences. Please avoid taking a stance or providing explanations or examples that contain opinions. And your complete essay should be written in third-person point of view. That means I should not find in your own writing the words I, me, you, your, we, us, or our. Now, if you have those words in a direct quote from the text, that is okay. As long as what you have written is in third-person point of view, you will be fine. Also, do not write with contractions and use your critical voice to explain. Your essay format follows exactly what your diagnostic did. You need to double space with an info block and a header, type it with 1-inch margins, avoid spelling, mechanical, and grammatical errors, avoid awkward or incorrect wording. You should have a narrow topic with a clear thesis, and you should have 5 full paragraphs, all indented with clear structure. You should also remember to write this essay for an educated, informed audience who is not in this class and may not be familiar with the terms or examples that you may use. You will need to summarize key ideas, define any terms that might not be familiar, and choose appropriate diction to help your reader understand your topic. Now, below you'll find some good ways of identifying irony within the text. You can read those over yourself if you need some more help trying to pick out what the difference between verbal, situational, and dramatic irony is. Remember that it can only be verbal if the example contains dialogue. Otherwise, it will be situational. If the example deals with the audience and not the characters, that's the only way that it can be dramatic. So these are three very different situations that you will want to be looking for. So again, if you need some help identifying irony, read this below to give you a sense of where you might find that. The next thing we want to do is look at the how to write document. Now, remember, this is the most important document that we have in this class. This tells you exactly how to write your paper and what I expect to see on your outlines and your maps. Now, for this one, you're going to have to pick a theme. Some popular themes that you see in this story are consumer culture, technology, virtual reality, human nature, and the death of the family structure, or the family structure in general. You will choose one of these to highlight in your thesis statement. What I implore you to do is to first find all 3 of your examples from the text that are irony. Then use those examples, okay, to then pick which theme they all match. Okay, so if all of your examples have to do with technology, then you would obviously pick the theme of technology for your thesis statement. So after you have chosen one theme from above, find 3 examples of ironic events tied to the theme that are present in the story and write them down on your map. Okay, now on your map, you have a box for your thesis statement. Now you will copy exactly what was on the assignment sheet in the short story, The Veldt. Ray Bradbury uses irony to prove. Now remember, what comes next will be the theme that leads to, causes, etc. Then you will fill in the universal outcome. The universal outcome of the theme must be what everybody universally would experience because of this theme. Let's take a look at my example, which you cannot copy, so please don't copy it. My example says, in the short story The Veldt, Ray Bradbury uses irony to prove that consumer culture leads to a society in which people are not financially free. So I've picked my my theme, consumer culture, and then I've given my universal outcome, which means that everybody, not just the characters in the text, but universally, when we have consumer cultureism, it leads to a society in which we are not financially free ultimately. Okay? Now, on the map here, remember that the top boxes are always going to come from number 1 from the how to write sheet. So if you're looking at the number 1, all you have to do is copy and paste number 1 here. Now we can change that back to something that's actually readable in that box. All right, so one example of irony in the Velt is blank irony. That means that you need to fill in this blank with either dramatic, situational, or verbal irony. Okay, so choose one of these to put in the box. When, and now explain the example in the story that is ironic. And this can be 1 to 3 sentences. So you will fill in on your map what those are. Okay, you will get your sentence number 2 for this box from body paragraph 2, number 1, and then this one from body paragraph 3, number 1. The proof in the text will always come from number 3 on your how to write document, and you will follow that exactly. So number 3 starts with the text states, comma, then you will fill in the quote that you find from the text, and then the author's last name should be in the parentheses with the period on the outside. Okay, so for each one of these, you will have the same thing, except that the quote from the text will obviously be different for the boxes. Okay, then how is this ironic? You will start number 4 and 5 for both of these. Now, on number 4 and 5, it tells you exactly what you should have. So you should start this by saying, this is ironic because, and then give me something to tell me why this is ironic. Number 5 says, this example is important to the theme of the text because it shows how. Now, this is the part where you will want to connect to your thesis statement. So, if you look at my example, it says, uses irony to prove that consumer culture leads to a society in which people are not financially free. So on my map, I'm going to connect this example to consumer culture and show how it shows this family is not financially free. Okay, now that means that all of your examples have to prove whichever theme and universal outcome that you choose. So again, that is why I would choose your examples first, then let your examples show you to the right theme. You will do this for all 3 body paragraphs in the same way that you're filling out this map. Your outline will follow what the how to write document says. Okay, each of these go in order of the way that they are presented. So topic sentence will be number 1, background information will be number 2, text evidence number 3, analyze the text for meaning number 4, connect the evidence number 5, and number 6 is the conclusion always. So whatever is here, you will put over here. So each of these should start by saying whatever the lead in to the how to write sheet is on your I'm sorry, I lost my words. It should be the same as what it is on this how to write document as is on your outline. Now number 6, the conclusion, I would just like for you to conclude by restating the topic sentence, not in a new way, but just conclude by restating the topic sentence only. Okay? If you have any questions, you need to email me. Again, please make sure that you are watching the how to write your introduction, because if this structure is not adhered to, you will receive a 50 for your essay. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is start by defining your theme of the text. So literally, whichever one of these you pick will be the first word. So because I have consumer culture, I would start by defining consumer culture. Consumer culture is, and then I will give my own definition of what consumer culture is for the introduction. Then everybody should have this same thing on for link the theme to the author and introduce the text. So, consumer culture is a theme that can be seen throughout many short stories. One story in particular is The Veldt, written by Ray Bradbury. Okay, so everybody should have that exact same sentence, okay, for number 2 in the introduction. So please copy that, and then but insert whichever one. So if you use technology, you'll say technology is a theme, or virtual reality is a theme. Okay, then you will start the number 3 section by Bradbury experienced this theme throughout his life when, comma, then open up quotations, okay, and then find a quotation in his biography that links him to consumer culture and put that in the block. Okay, now it tells you here that in this quote you should have life in quotations in parentheses. So please make sure that you have that down for this section number 3. Okay, the summary of the text. The short story, The Veldt, is about. Then you tell me the summary of the text, and then your thesis statement as you write it on your map. Okay, so you should not have any questions about that, but if you do, please email me and let me know. Please make sure that you are following the how to write guide for your map, your outline, and your rough draft. Please let me know if you have any questions.